Welcome to Click Clack. I'm Haley.
And I'm Molly.
And for episode 5, we had a special guest, Ben Herald, who's the newest GT Pro and winner of the Sakura Classic Pro division.
Yeah, Ben was a great guest to have.
Yeah, FaceTimed him in a few days ago, so I hope you guys enjoy the interview from him. So recently, Molly and I filmed a new series called Back to Basics, and I don't know if anyone listening to this has seen it yet, but if you haven't, you should head over to the KendamaUSA YouTube channel and look it up. We did a video called 37 Ways to Big Cup.
Yeah, it's essentially an ode to the way that kendama started, the fact that kendama is based on big cup, small cup, base cup, and spike.
Yeah, and all of the new age tricks today are just so technical and crazy, and we wanted to, give people inspiration that it's okay to not do the hardest tricks, and especially for people that are learning kendama and beginners out there, there's like a million ways that you could do big cup really creatively, and you don't have to do all the hardest tricks to be good at kendama. So that's kind of the reason why we made this video, and we're going to do a few more episodes. The next one's going to be base cup, and then we'll see what happens after that. So
yeah, and if you ever want to see a different Back to Basics episode, maybe give us a message on Instagram.
Yeah, let us know if you want to see something specific, and we'll try to do it. We also have some exciting news for this episode and all the other episodes that are coming after this, but we have our first premier sponsor for Click Clack Radio.
And that sponsor is
KendamaUSA. So Jeremy was nice enough to sponsor our podcast, and what you can do is you can go to the KendamaUSA website and use the code ClickClack when you're checking out to get 10% off your order.
That's Click Clack.
CLICK CLACK. That's Click Clack. But seriously, go to the KendamaUSA website, get 10% off your next order, and thanks for listening to this podcast, and thank you KendamaUSA for sponsoring Click Clack Radio. We also have another exciting
human.
We have some exciting news also for this episode, and we have a new producer, our friend Jack Baker. Hey, Jack.
New as in the one and only producer.
Hello, listeners of Click Clack Podcast. I really like this podcast, and I like kendama too, and podcasts in general. And so I'm going to work hard to make sure this is dope.
Thank you for your hard work.
Those were wise
Okay,
words.
now we're going to interview you real quick.
Yeah.
We have a couple questions that we need to ask you.
Burning questions, yeah.
Okay.
Burning questions. Okay, so Jack, how long have you been playing kendama for?
Probably 3 years-ish.
Okay, who got you into it?
Josh?
Oh, you mean Josh Flowgrove?
Anyway, speaking of Josh Flowgrove, if you guys haven't heard episode 2, we interviewed Joshua Flowgrove. He lives up in Portland now, and he does some really cool work within schools and teaching mindfulness and kendama to kids, and just overall really awesome human. So you should go listen to episode 2 if you haven't already. But yeah, okay, so Jack, what do you do? What do you do right now?
I'm a student, and I work in the audio lab in Benton Hall, and
Here at OSU.
yeah, Oregon State. And Yep. Check out my website, freewheelingfilm.net. That's all I got.
We'll put a link below.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks for your help.
And your expertise.
Yeah. We were using GarageBand before this, but now it feels real, you know?
Started from the bottom.
Now we here. Okay, well, let's get into the episode. Get stoked to hear from Ben Herald, and don't forget that you can use the code ClickClack on KendamaUSA to get 10% off your order. Let's do it. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Tight.
Okay, Jack, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so welcome to Click Clack Radio episode 5. I'm Haley,
And I'm Molly.
and today we have Ben Herald. What's up, Ben?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So Ben here is the Sakura Classic 2017 Pro Champion and one of the newest GT Pros. So we wanted to have him on the show to hear what he's got to say about it. So tell us about Sakura Classic.
Sakura is really awesome, as always. It was a lot bigger this year than the last two, which was good, obviously. it's always cool to see more and more people come out to kind of the home turf. And I think it went really well overall. The kendama booth was pretty much the biggest booth in the entire like 50,000 person festival of the Japantown Cherry Blossom Festival. Excuse me. And it's pretty cool. It's like a lot of just massive stream of people coming by, just seeing kendama for maybe the first time, maybe not. And just such a big crowd, also hyped on kendama all at the same time. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it was cool to see how many people came out for it. Especially there's a lot of pros this year. There was way more than I think there ever has been. So that was really awesome. All right, so tell us about the contest a little bit, and did you practice a lot for this contest?
Not a huge amount. Jake and I kind of collaborated on the tricks for the open division, so I kind of didn't want to like overly practice since I had kind of had a hand in coming up with the tricks as well. But it was mostly all for the amateurs. That was the main contest. The pro open division and freestyle are more just exhibition, more for show. It's really about just getting all the AMs out there and pitting them against one another in the rings.
Yeah, they did really good this year, and shout out to Hartej for taking first in the AM.
Hartej absolutely killed it. I mean, all the kids did so well. It was always really cool to see.
Yeah, it was great. And also shout out to Josh Grove for getting second, and Bonds got third, right?
They didn't do a third and fourth matchup for pro. So Gavin and Bonds tied. Yeah, that was a good contest. And shout out to Jake for putting all of this on.
Yeah, a lot of hard work.
Dude, Jake killed it so hard. He's been every year he just puts so much into this event, and it's always wish that we could do more to help him with it, but he's just really, really makes it his own, puts his heart into it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so you and Kristian Aynedter are the newest pros for Grain Theory. So we kind of wanted to ask you a few questions about that.
Yeah, so as a whole, you got to design your own kendama, as do pros. So what were the concepts that came out of that in terms of the shape and the graphics?
So what I really wanted for mine was more or less just a really beefy version of kind of the shape that I already had. And Stod's kendama to me is a little bit, at least in the Serato, is a little bit more slimmed down, and it feels kind of more petite and precise in my hand, which I like a lot, but I wanted to see what something on the other end of the spectrum would be like with more of a chunky, meatier handle to it. So what I actually did, like the first thing that we tried when we got there is basically just chopped the top off of a tall boy spike, which is, I think the tall boy is 18 centimeters normally. So we basically just cut the top off so that it would be the normal height of a kendama, and then slimmed down the spike a little bit because it was pretty massive at that point. And then on the Serato, we just went wild in the CAD program and just kind of boosted it in. We made it way thicker at first, and then also, we thickened the. What do you even call it?
The middle part of the Serato?
From top to bottom on the Serato, we kind of made all that bigger, but we ended up toning that down a little bit more. And mostly the main difference on the Serato is the wideness of the shoulders. So it goes out a good deal further than your regular GT1 or Stod Mod Serato would. And that actually lets the lunars sit really, really nicely, but without needing like a really long spike. So the spike is still pretty short, lets you sling it pretty nicely, but it just got these large shoulders that go out to the side.
How does that shape kind of mesh with the way that you play in terms of like your tech?
I don't know. I try to do any and all kinds of tricks that I can think of, but I definitely love lunar tricks like more than anything else. And when you have that dama that just is perfect for the lunar, it, that's all you want to do on it, is just do difficult lunar tricks all day. So I wanted something that would be pretty much consistently really, really honed for lunars,
For sure.
without taking away from any of the other things. But it's definitely a lunar kendama. That's what I was going for originally. And I've been really happy with how it plays for all the other tricks as well, but definitely slaps the loons. Happy about it.
So did you and Kristian have the same shape for your kendama?
No, his is almost went the opposite direction. It's not skinnier exactly, but it's a little bit taller, and his slip stop is thinned down into this sharp point. So it looks like a UFO lodged inside of his Ken, which is actually where his UFO artwork came from.
Yeah, so tell us about the graphics. What were the inspirations for those?
So mine, well, it's got the pug face, obviously. That's it's just a personal thing. I've always loved pugs, and my pug lives in Reno with my parents, so I get to see him on holidays. But he's the ultimate homie. I got him on my 10th birthday, all of that. And I don't know, I can't really see a pug on the street without just stopping what I'm doing and trying to go over and pet it, even if the person looks like they're in a hurry. So I just wanted to incorporate that in. And the face of the logo itself is actually like a pug version of a logo that my homie Michelle made a while ago for the Bay Area Hustle Team, which is what my group of friends call ourselves. Just a bunch of trickers, kendama players, music producers, and kind of assorted artists that live around the Bay Area and just support each other and all the shit that we do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
really
all
cool.
the stuff.
No, you're good.
No, it's okay. Click Radio's explicit. We don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah, so also, tricking. I forget that you do that. Tell us a little bit about that. How'd you get into that?
Yeah, so I don't really train it that much anymore. It's kind of something that I try to just stay honed enough at it that every once in a while I can still throw my body around. But yeah, from about 2008 till 2015 or something, I was still training really regularly. I got into it through martial arts, actually. A couple of my friends and I, at the martial arts spot that I went to, just kind of found videos of people online doing it and started to learn a couple tricks, and it just snowballed until we were skipping martial arts classes to go just do tricks in the open mat. And then our parents all stopped paying for the martial arts classes, and then we were just full tricking after that.
So you never did gymnastics or anything, right?
No, I never even took tumbling class or anything. So it's all very like free form, backyard, self-taught kind of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're definitely a natural at it. Okay,
Well,
so going back to kendama, what does being a pro for grain theory mean to you?
Ooh, it's a deep one.
Yeah, it's a heavy question.
The biggest difference, like, for being on a company versus just playing on my own, that I found is just the sense that everything that you're doing is not just for your own, not selfish, but selfish goals, you know? It's not just to improve yourself. It's you're also kind of contributing and pulling your weight in the company. So, I mean, the pro spot is just still bewilders me that I hit this point, but it's just unreal to kind of have that validation of like, yeah, you've been doing that much for the company, you know, here, make your own shape and we're going to sell it. Not to mention, you know, if you tell anyone, any civilian, that you're a pro kendama player, they ask if you make money at it. So now, even if it's not the hugest amount, it's cool to just be able to say, yeah, I actually have my own model. It's on the market. You can buy it on the website.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge honor, I feel like. And I don't know, it just shows that also, like, you're so invested to the point where, like, you're progressing a lot. Like, you're one of the most innovative and, like, creative players I feel like in the last year for sure. And GT definitely just recognized that, and they're like, yeah, we got to do something about this. So props to them for that.
Thanks for saying that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
So how long have you been playing kendama? The typical question.
So I started on Christmas Day of 2012. So about 4 years and some change.
Okay.
Did you get your first kendama for Christmas then?
Yeah, and it was my parents had no idea what they were looking for really, so it was one of those tiny traditional red, like crazy proportioned Japanese damas. It was like impossible to do anything other than big cup and small cup on. Almost.
That's
Not
awesome.
impossible, just really hard.
So
And
how
I
long
spent
after?
like a month.
Oh, go ahead. What?
I had like a month on that before I realized that I was making it way harder for myself than I needed to. And then I bought a tribute,
Nice.
bamboo tribute.
Rep and tribute.
Yeah.
That was my first one as well. Green bamboo tribute.
Yeah.
Oh, mine was like natty, except they're like not really natty. It's like still somehow glossy, but
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah, so that's awesome. I didn't know you've been playing that long actually. Okay, so when you got announced for pro, we kind of just want to tell the story of this. When we were all at the Hatch in Oakland. So it was over Sakura Classic weekend, and we were all at this restaurant bar called the Hatch, and we were watching kendama videos on this big screen, and then Jake made an announcement that we all needed to watch the video that was coming up. And I definitely didn't expect it, and I did not have any idea that that was planned, and I don't think anyone else did, but it was the pro announcement for you and for Kristian. So that was a really, really exciting moment. Everyone kind of went crazy. So how did it feel?
it was it was pretty unreal. I mean, we had been planning that, for a couple weeks out, obviously, like from pretty much from right when Jake reserved that spot. That was like his idea. But we filmed at least my part of the video like earlier that week, so it was all really last minute, and just to see it unfold just like that, it was pretty perfect.
Yeah, that was really exciting to see. So how did you get sponsored by Grain Theory?
I well, I had my heart set on being on Namco for a long time, and that just never happened. For I was kind of repping them and playing their damas for about a year, and never really got any recognition officially from anyone. I was good friends with a lot of their players, but I just never had any contact with anyone important really. And one day Stod messaged me on Facebook and just asked if I would be interested in being on his team, and I wasn't gonna do it at first for some reason. I don't even. I thought I don't know. I didn't think I liked the damas that much, but I hadn't only had like a couple of them, and then Rice and Jake both kind of hit me up separately and talked to them about it, and somewhere in there changed my mind entirely, and definitely made the right choice overall.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that probably would have been really bad if you like got super stoked, and then
Yeah, it was literally like 1 month before all of the shit hit the fan.
Yeah, definitely a good decision. I feel like you fit the team really well.
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely a really rad crew of people.
Yeah, some of the best kendama players in the world too.
Yeah, for sure. So what's the dama scene like where you live?
It's pretty well, I don't know. I want to say small, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know what the average scene size is at this point. Nothing like Sacramento a couple years ago or
Right.
Hawaii, but
Yeah.
it's pretty good. We had the massive blow up of sorry, my dogs. Where every kid buys one because all of their friends have one, and it just kind of spreads like fire throughout all the schools. That happened in 2015, which is actually like why I ended up moving out here, because I had the opportunity to work in the Kendama Syndicate store, and Then it kind of died as it does, and it boiled down to just the players that were really playing because they liked it. And right around when I got on GT, actually, I started doing this weekly Saturday jam at the park by my house, and I think that's done a good job of kind of keeping the kids interested. Good 10, 15 kids that come out on a pretty regular basis, which
That's solid,
I'm happy.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not any new faces that often, but it's just awesome to have kids that keep showing up and keep getting better at Dama.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like that's a good number of people to come out too. Molly and I tried to host jams over the summer in Corvallis, and literally, like, nobody came to them. It was just like us in the park.
People walked by and they were interested and they picked it up
Yeah.
and wanted to play, but
Yeah.
nobody came. I mean, Corvallis is an obscure place
A lot
to go.
smaller than
Yeah.
where you're at, but yeah, that's cool. You got a group of people every week to hang out with and jam.
And then, of course, like the San Francisco area has a whole other, I mean, sort of separate, but just a whole other group of people that meets up every Tuesday in Japantown. And that's also a really, really awesome meetup just because it's mostly older people. There's a few kids that come, but it's really chill, just hanging out, getting stoked on Japan.
Yeah, do you go to that every week?
Yeah, not every week, but probably like 3 out of every 4 or something. It's about an hour drive, so
Yeah.
sometimes I have stuff I have to do.
Yeah. So after the big win at Sakura Classic and going pro, what are you planning to do next? Are you planning to go to KWC, any other contests this year, or what do you see going on in 2017 for you?
Well, I'm actually going to be at Camp Kendama next month. I'm going to be a counselor there, which is going to be a really cool experience. I'm stoked to have a little cabin of shredders to hone in with. That's going to be dope.
Sure.
And other events, we'll, got to kind of play it by ear as it unfolds. Definitely trying to go to at least one Japan trip this year. We'll see which one. Catch and Flow is pretty awesome.
Yeah, do you
year.
think Catch and Flow is more your style or KWC?
Probably Catch and Flow. World Cup is cool. There's I never really went through the whole practicing for it thing because I wasn't going last year, so I'd have to wait till I've been to both to really say which one I like better. But KWC seems more stressful, definitely. Catch and Flow is definitely just fun. It's just having a time.
Yeah,
on
it's way
stage.
less structured, I feel like.
Yeah, basically. That's a good way to put it. You're right. And World Cup is just so rigid and traditional and, spend hours and hours practicing and all comes down to 3 minutes on stage.
Yeah, right? How much pressure is that? Yeah, I've been to both. I went to the first Catch and Flow, I think it was back in 2014. I think it was the first one, or 2015. I can't remember. But I went to that one and KWC that year. And yeah, you're right. Catch and Flow is definitely way more relaxed. But Kendama World Cup is fun. I think if you haven't been to that contest, that's a really good experience as a kendama player because you get to experience where kendama was born. You get to see all the Gloken crew doing their thing, and you get to see this huge event, probably one of the biggest events for kendama. Because I think the Japanese government also puts in money for KWC. And the first year it was huge, televised, and yeah, it's just massive. And if you haven't been, definitely recommend. Every kendama player needs to at least go once. But
yeah, that's an important pilgrimage.
Can you tell us a little bit about that video, your newest edit?
Yeah.
People went crazy over that one.
So I filmed one of those tricks just kind of on the fly, and it realized after I had the clip how kind of cool and especially weird it was, and so I sort of waited instead of posting it, and just ended up getting really inspired and hyped on the idea of just making a whole video of just the kind of weirdest, most out there kendama tricks that I could think of, that's always fun. If all the tricks that people do already, if you want to do research in that area, you have to get really, really good at it because everyone's done all the easy stuff. And so it's really fun to just kind of branch out in other areas and figure out almost basic versions of new possibilities and just kind of see how they unfold. But yeah, it was pretty much over the course of March. I was just put in a lot of hours on the tripod and just got all the cool tricks that I could. It had been a long time since I had like my own edit, like of just me and my camera versus having Jake Weens film for me, or I filmed with Austin Bachman a little while ago as well. And it was coming up on about a year since the last just hardcore tripod edit I had made. So it felt good to really just grind out and do that again. I spent a lot of hours in March just sitting out there in the middle of the night trying to film some stuff.
Yeah, definitely worth it. I feel like it's really hard to have motivation to film by yourself. A lot harder at least versus when you're with somebody like Jake who's able to like sit there and motivate you to hit a trick.
Yeah.
So if you were to give some advice to any of the listeners out there, what would you say for like filming and like just putting out a solo edit by yourself? Like what is the benefit and how do you think it pushes you as a player?
I think as far as filming goes, it's really all a mental game, and it's if you're really trying to get it done, like your body's going to want to try to stick the maximum number of attempts in per minute, but you want to get the best attempt every single try, so basically just go slow, stay relaxed with it, don't rush.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I really kind of phase out a lot when I'm filming. My mind drifts off. Like once I'm really in the zone on a trick and I'm not thinking about what to do or how to do it, and I'm just kind of honing in on it, my mind just really goes like everywhere else but Dama, and I'm just thinking about I don't know, anything, like just random thoughts throughout the day and all of that.
Yeah. Do you think that helps you hit your tricks though?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you either land it or get really close, that you like snap back into it because you realize, that was it. And yeah, as far as making edits for yourself, I think it's just a really rewarding thing that every kendama player should do. And especially in this day and age where, it's kind of all about Instagram now, for good or bad. When I started playing, everyone made YouTube edits, and that was just kind of how you got tricks out there. But nowadays, it's like people don't have as much patience as they used to. So it can be kind of discouraging, especially when you're, if you don't really have your name out there yet, you might not get that many views on your YouTube videos. And that can kind of make it seem like it's not worth doing that. Kind of regardless of that, just even if it's just for your own personal satisfaction and for the personal glory, it's still a great quest just to try to make a video that you're proud of,
Yeah, for sure.
You might film tricks and then realize once you filmed a bunch more tricks that like these first ones like aren't even to the standard that you want for the video, and just kind of holding yourself to that grindstone and knowing what you want in the video and eventually achieving it is incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, for sure. That's great advice.
And you just heard Ben Herald.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, for the interview. It was great. You can follow us at Click Clack Radio on Instagram, and you can shoot us a message there. And also, if there's anyone you want to hear from on our show, like any specific kendama players or anyone in the community, always shoot us a message, and we can do our best to get that person on the show. So, Click Clack Radio Instagram. Woo. Yeah, so just a reminder, you can head on over to KendamaUSA to use the 10% off Click Clack code. And if you guys didn't know, KendamaUSA just dropped a new apparel line back over MKO weekend. So you guys should check out some apparel, get 10% off an order.
Get some cheap t-shirts.
Yeah, or a craft. Or a Kaizen 2.0. You have so many options. Just go there. Just do it. We also want to give out a special thanks to Jack Baker for helping to produce this episode, KendamaUSA for sponsoring it, Ben Herald for being a great interviewee, and yeah, once again, I'm Haley.
And thanks to you, and I'm Molly.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, babies.